I Am Bread is without a doubt one of the hardest games I have ever played, and I made the stupid decision to go for its platinum trophy. I ended up pouring 40 hours into a game where you literally flop around as a piece of bread. Because the A++ ranks in this game are no joke, and they had me questioning my sanity.
But I have put so many hours into the garden, and I just can't do it. I don't understand why I can't do it, but I just can't do it.
In this video, we're going to be embarking on my hardest platinum trophy journey to date for I Am Bread. Okay, this game's music is actually pretty chill. I'm going to need to find something a bit more appropriate. There are quite a few steps to getting this torturous platinum trophy, and my first one was just to complete the story and get as many miscellaneous trophies as I could. However, that is easier said than done with this game's stupid controls, with each of the shoulder buttons corresponding to one of the corners of the bread. There are also a lot of obstacles in my way, and I will need to keep my edibility as high as possible to get the A++ ranks later down the line. And my first words after booting up the game really set the tone.
I already know this is going to be a huge mistake.
And my aim was to make it to this toaster here to toast myself, but my first attempt didn't really go to plan.
Wait, no we're not. Oh, I fell. Okay, great.
Soon after this, I popped my first trophy, Bun Fortunate for spilling the salt. I also covered myself in jam and butter before getting toasted, which granted me 2 more trophies. Now, I bet you're watching this footage and wondering, how has this bread magically gained the ability to fly? Well, that is something known as a small item fling or sieve, and we'll get into that more later, since mastering this glitch will be crucial for A++s in the future. Speaking of A++s, this is how I managed to get my first one.
It's a cool story though, first A++.
And on the same run, I managed to finish with 100% edibility, which gained me another trophy. I'll need to keep my edibility as high as possible for the A++s, typically above 97%, and my edibility decreases by touching dirty surfaces or the floor. I also knocked out 4 quick and easy trophies. The first one, the walking bread, was for finishing with exactly 1% edibility. I guess it's a bit glitch because I finished with 0. Next, Picky Eater was for toasting myself with 2 different heat sources. I chose the stove and then the toaster. Finally, I hadn't technically died yet, so I let my edibility run to 0 for the trophy I Am Dead. Finally, I finished the level with Magic Marmalade, a power-up that makes you invincible, and this gave me a trophy. However, speaking of easy trophies, Donny Hawk is not one of them. For the trophy, I needed to stand upright on this skateboard and travel 1 meter, and for some reason, this took about half an hour to pop.
Finally! Oh my god, I thought that was never gonna pop.
I also went into my first bagel race level and got this trophy for starting the rocket. And in the living room level, I dropped this bowling ball on this TV for another trophy. I also managed an A++ on this level without too much trouble. Hopefully that will be a sign of things to come.
Oh my god, that took me so long. Oh, it's pounding.
However, we're not getting to that stage yet, and it's on with the story, where I got the trophy Ryan Dry for turning on the hairdryer. And it was at this point where the story was getting too difficult for me, and I was using Magic Marmalade for levels that I took too long on. Like here, where I got a trophy for starting the car in the garden level. Then, in the garage level, I started both the chainsaw and the lawnmower, which gave me 2 more trophies. I also climbed to the top of the bin lorry in the petrol station level, which gave me another trophy.
The bread baron. Stay airborne for over 5 seconds. What? I didn't do that. The end is right. The all story levels. There we go.
With the story mode complete, I next decided to go for A++s on the story, and this halted my progress for about 2 days. Level 3 in the bedroom was painstakingly difficult, so I decided to move on to the bathroom, where I was finally able to make some progress.
Finally making progress. I've got another A++. It's on the bathroom. I've actually made a little bit of progress after so long. Oh my god. I don't think this platinum is going to be possible still. But at least I've got another A++. That's 3.
And I continued to surprise myself, as on the same night I got the A++ on the garage level. And with the remaining 4 story levels being really difficult to A++, I switched my attention to the bagel race levels. And I got an A++ for the first time, which granted me a trophy. Bagel race is probably the easiest game mode to earn A++s on, since the controls are the most manageable. And soon after, I earned my second on the living room. It was at this point I decided to stop putting off the story mode levels and went for the garden A++. In order to earn the A++, I needed to pull off this insanely hard fling over the car to get to the barbecue. But most of the time this is how all of my attempts ended. However, after a lot of practice, I pulled off the fence segment flawlessly and just needed to make it over the car. However, this wasn't the end of my struggles, since I needed to land at the matchbox, light the match and light the barbecue in order to toast myself. If I could pull off this fling, I would set myself up with a really good chance of getting this A++.
I got it. Oh my god. A++ on the garden level. That took me a long time to get, I'm not gonna lie to you.
This put me on a roll, as I was able to get the petrol station A++ on the same day. This one's not too bad, as I just need to fling over to these gas canisters with a lighter. However, the hardest story mode A++ for me was definitely the bedroom. And it was all due to this second half. First, I needed to pull off this fling from this skateboard all the way down to the ironing board. And to finish it off, I needed to toast myself perfectly on this iron. And with the iron being thinner than the bread, this usually led to an uneven toast, which lowered my edibility greatly. And this is how I pulled off my winning run, which granted me a gold trophy at the end.
Yes, Raconteur! Oh my god, we got an A++ on all the story levels.
And this was a great feeling at the time, until I realised that was only 7 of the 35 levels that I need to A++. So it was straight back to it with the Bagel Race A++s, with this one being my third.
Yeah!
And soon came my fourth. However, the garage level was giving me a lot of trouble with some very tight turns. The time to beat here is 36 seconds, and I'm just going to let it play out. And that was by far the hardest of the Bagel Race levels, with the next two taking me nowhere near as much time, and soon enough I had the A++ on them all.
We're all rounder, but it's not an A++. And the following run we get it, High Roller.
The next mode for me to overcome was Rampage, where I play as a baguette who has to smash as many things as possible inside the time limit. In order to earn the A++, I need to keep my multiplier as much as possible and just keep destroying things. And earning my first A++ on the kitchen level granted me a trophy. I would say that the baguette is the worst bread to control in the entire game, however, these A++s weren't as bad as I first imagined. The key to earning these A++ is mastering the sift glitch, since this can help me traverse the room very quickly and keep my multiplier going.
Right, in reality, I thought these Rampage levels were actually really difficult to A++ when I first started, but look at that, I've got 45 seconds left on the clock.
And that was how it went with the majority of these A++s. If I managed to earn it, I would usually have a decent chunk of time left on the timer.
Do you not understand how fucking annoying this one is? That literally took me forever. Thank fuck for that. I'm going back to menu because my head hurts. Oh, that one took me a while, but the bathroom is done with 47 seconds to spare. Woo! There we go, I just about made it. Bro, this is meant to be the hardest level on the Rampage. I got it within like half an hour of waking up. I mean, I'm glad it didn't give me too many troubles, because it definitely had the possibility to. It wasn't too bad. Once you knew what you were doing, it only took me about 15 minutes So that wasn't too bad at all. Here we go. We get Rye Hard. Complete all Rampage levels. And the Rye of the Tiger.
So, 3 out of the 5 game modes done. Technically, I was over halfway there. However, this isn't the home stretch, since I have 2 extremely hard game modes left. And here was my reaction to controlling the bread in 0G for the first time.
So how do I turn? Oh no, I don't like that. I don't like that one. What on earth? How do you turn?
I think it's safe to say I was completely stumped. The controls were really awkward and they just made no sense to me. Somehow I was able to get my next trophy fuel efficient for toasting myself using less than 100 fuel.
Fuel efficient just about. Honestly, I have no idea how I'm going to do these A++.
However, I stuck with it and eventually made progress by earning my first A++. And the more I practiced, the more the controls started to make sense to me.
Come on, yes! Another A++. That one didn't take too long at all. I am not kidding you. That was the first time I actually tried that. I actually can't believe it. I've literally got these 3 this morning, and I spent about an hour on that one.
My confidence was the highest it had ever been playing this game, and I flew through the garage and the garden.
Yes, that one was troublesome, but I really didn't expect to get that time.
All that stood between me and the trophy was the petrol station, and the guide describes this stage as by far the hardest of the 0G. I needed to make it to the bottom gas canister while using less than 108 fuel, and this requirement is stupidly difficult. And I beat the stage but only with a B rank, but I still earned a trophy for beating all the 0G levels. And after a lot of attempts, I managed to get this run.
This has to be it. This literally has to be it. My heart is pounding, bro. If this isn't it, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. Yes! The final one's here. Come on! A++ on all 0G levels.
I had managed to beat 4 of the 5 game modes, earning A++ ranks on all of them. However, the remaining mode was the hardest in the game. This is Cheese Hunt, and the premise is simple. Find all 5 cheeses around the stage without breaking the cracker. However, mastering these levels and earning an A++ rank on all of them is going to be extremely hard. In most of these levels, the time requirement is extremely tight, and mastering the Sif glitch is crucial in meeting these requirements. Edibility doesn't matter at all in these levels, however, if I fall from high places, my integrity lowers. And if it reaches 0, then I fail the stage. However, integrity doesn't matter in the A++s so long as I meet the time requirement. And on this attempt in the kitchen, I had reached the 4th cheese on good pace and just needed a good fling to reach the 5th. Also, I have no idea where this trophy clip went. I mean, you probably didn't notice because the one I made myself looks so realistic. The key to pulling off the perfect Sif in Cheese Hunt is destroying the cracker in front. This provides a tiny piece of cracker straight away, which is more than capable of pulling off the Sif glitch. And after not too many attempts, I had the perfect chance to pull off the A++ on the living room. However, my integrity is very low. However, the next level in the bedroom gave me a ton of trouble. Firstly, I needed to grab the cheese on top of the computer. Then I needed to fling onto and scale this wardrobe in order to grab the cheese on top. Then I needed to make my way across the door frame and grab this cheese hanging off this shelf. With my integrity very low, I then needed to scale these drawers in order to grab the cheese under the bell. Then, with my final fling, I needed to make it onto the bed and pray that the cracker didn't break. And on this occasion it didn't, and if I could make it to the cheese before 2 minutes and 8 seconds, I would finally get this A++.
Oh my god, that took me so long. My heart is pounding. My heart is pounding on my chest.
Next up was the bathroom, and this one actually wasn't too bad.
The guy said that one wouldn't be too bad, and it wasn't. It took me a bit of time to get used to it, but it wasn't too bad at all. 3 levels. 3 levels separate myself and the platinum.
However, these 3 were the hardest in the game, including one that took me over 8 hours to complete. And next up for me was the second hardest, the garage. I'd invested about an hour into this prior, and I was praying that this run would be the one. It felt so good to overcome a level as difficult as this, however I knew it would be nothing compared to the level that was next. The Garden Cheese Hunt A++ is by far the most difficult thing I have ever attempted in a game, and I've beat Cuphead on Expert Mode. I've earned every A++ in Surgeon Simulator. I've earned every time trial trophy in Rayman Origins, but none of them compare to this. You have to be near perfect for the entire level if you want any chance of getting the A++. And after about 6 hours of attempts, I filmed this clip.
So I've been relatively quiet on this front with you guys, but I have put so many hours into the garden and I just can't do it. I don't understand why I can't do it, but I just can't do it. I can't make it within the time constraint. But it will always be that one trophy that is stopping me from getting this platinum because of this one fucking level here.
I earned one final trophy by finishing a cheese hunt level with 100% integrity, and then I quit. For close to a month, this platinum sat unearned on my trophy list, and in that time I earned 3 difficult platinum trophies: Ghost Runner, Hotline Miami and Rain World. One evening I was scrolling through my trophies and I saw I Am Bread again, and I thought, why not give it one more go? And it turns out this is the best decision I could have made. For the first 2 hours it was more of the same, trying and failing. However, I was noticeably improving and becoming more comfortable with the level. All I needed was one good run and this platinum would be within reach. At this moment my heart completely sank. One silly mistake had ruined my best run so far. Despite this, I looked at the clock and thought maybe, just maybe, there's enough time for me to do this.
I came back today. I came back today. Oh my god. I genuinely feel a bit sick, you know. I didn't expect to be in this position. I've fully given up this platinum.
Finally, I had overcome the garden. I still had one more level to go, and it was difficult, but it was nowhere near as tough as the garden. If I could make it to the petrol pump here, the platinum trophy would be mine.
It is Turophile. A++ or cheese hunt levels. I am bread. I am bread. I've done it. Oh, I didn't think I'd get it done ever, let alone today.
And that was how I got, to date, my hardest platinum trophy. This video has taken me a long time to edit, so if you did enjoy and you enjoy platinum trophy content, make sure to subscribe. And if you have more difficult platinum trophy suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Because somehow 10 out of 10s get harder than this. I can't see how it's possible, but I'm going to attempt a 10 out of 10 one day. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you in the next video.